I have actually driven, I was really into the bridges, a lot of photographs of bridges. Would you start when you cross into start with the Chain of Rocks Bridge and kind of hit some of the...
Hit you some of the highlights?
Yeah, and then like the bridge, the Pony Bridge.
Sure.
Would you kind of like hit some of the...
Yeah.
And then even the Route 66 State Park Bridge, you're trying to raise money. That was where there was Times City, whatever.
Times Beach, yeah.
Times Beach.
Yeah.
And then there's another bridge in Waynesville.
Yeah.
You know, but and I've got those. So
well, you need to buy Jim Ross's book on bridges over here. He's got the whole history of all the bridges on Route 66. Okay. It's a good book.
You tell me a little bit about the bridges.
Okay. Well, of course, Route 66 went across country, and it had to cross a lot of bodies of water. And in the early days, maybe a person would have to ford a creek or something. But fortunately, in the 20s and 30s and on, many excellent bridges were built for Route 66. Possibly one of the most famous would be the Chain of Rocks Bridge that crosses the Mississippi River from Illinois into St. Louis. It is an unusual bridge in the fact that it is bent. Now, the reason it's bent is because there was a crease in the blueprints when they built it. No, I'm just lying to you. It was done to avoid interfering with some city water pickups that were, downstream of it. So they had to kind of change the routing. It was a toll bridge. It was the first Route 66 crossing in 1926. And then later, the official route was moved further south, but it was a city route. And then it was bypassed and was going to be torn down. And now it's owned by a trails organization. Sometimes, if you're very lucky, you can be able to drive across it in your vehicle at special occasions. Back sometime many, many, many years ago, I was able to go out and attend a wedding that was held in the middle of the Chain of Rocks Bridge. The couple had won a contest. And so we're out there with the chair sitting in the middle of the bridge, and here they come in a stretched 57 Chevy limo. And there's some safety boats holding station right below the bridge in case one of us wedding guests happens to fall over. And, that was exciting. That was different. Then continuing on west from there, another important bridge was at Times Beach, where there's Route 66 State Park. On the east shore is a really cool museum. The west shore was the town of Times Beach, which was contaminated by dioxin that was in oil that was spread on the streets to control dust. The town's gone. It's just now it's a state park. It's empty land. The original bridge, the decking has been removed because it was crumbling. And there are efforts to try to preserve that and at least preserve the remaining bridge structure. There's another endangered bridge further on in Missouri, Gasconade River Bridge, which is east of Lebanon. Boy, the Missouri Association and other groups have really fought hard trying to save that, tried to get Missouri Department of Transportation to transfer ownership to the association. And there is issues about insurance and other things. And really, it's just it's up in the air now whether it will be saved or not. I think it would be a huge sin for that 1923 bridge to disappear, considering there's other places where similar bridges have been left alongside the road. Here in Oklahoma, we have the Pony Bridge. The Pony Bridge is because it's got 38 little trusses, and they're small, so they're pony trusses. And it runs for about 3/4 of a mile. It was built in the early 30s. It's a great, fantastic bridge. It's very narrow and scary, but underneath it, it's in poor condition. And ODOT is planning from probably spring of 22 to completely dismantle the bridge, rebuild the deck to where the deck will support the bridge on the original piers, and reinstall the arches, the 38 arches, as guardrails. They will still be there, but they won't actually be holding it up. And they're going to widen it by about 2 foot on each side, which, it's still going to be cool. But there'll be a couple of years where you won't be able to drive on it. But they're also planning to have turnouts on either side where actually you would be able to park and see it better. Because right now, there's really no safe place to park. And, you get out into Albuquerque, west of Albuquerque, the Rio Puerco Bridge. Here is a really cool through truss girder bridge that was left right beside the interstate, no problem. There is the abandoned Walnut Creek Bridge near Flagstaff. Backtrack a bit. Catoosa, Oklahoma. We had the twin bridges there. One of them was removed. One of the spans is on the northwest side of the river as a approach to a restaurant. The other two spans are on the southeast side in a park. So you can still see the original bridge right practically in the same location. So there's other things you can do besides just scrapping it and hauling it off.
So was the casino, it's a bridge by a casino.
Well, that's the Rio Puerco Bridge, and that's across, from this casino, but it has nothing to do with it,
Okay, no, but it's still,
You can walk on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Devil's Elbow.
Yes. Devil's Elbow Bridge, it was rehabilitated and restored. It was rescued. It's a beautiful setting. You're on a section of Route 66 that winds down through a valley up against a steep cliff. The Devil's Elbow was referring to when they would run logs down that river, and that bend would trap all the logs, and they'd have a huge log jam. So that was the Devil's Elbow, And it survived a flood the last few years that nearly swamped the town out. It's one of my favorite little drives on 66, very historic. The road leading up to either side of town is concrete, but starting downhill into the town and then uphill on the other side, a few miles away, is asphalt, because they originally intended to build a dam that would have flooded that whole area, and they didn't want to go to the expense of concrete pavement. Then they built later the Hooker Cut on the bypass around town. That cut, it was one of the deepest rock cuts in the U.S. And that was an early 4-lane section of Route 66.
And one more bridge, the two guns with the mountain lion.
Oh, okay. You got a couple of really interesting ancient bridges in central Arizona, north central Arizona, between Winslow and Flagstaff. At Two Guns. Two Guns is kind of an old western town that's set on the banks of Canyon Diablo. And there is a bridge built about 1914, a concrete arch bridge that leads to the older part of that town. It looks like something from Arches National Park. The whole town is a relic. There's also a very similar bridge a little further down at Padre Canyon near Twin Arrows. That bridge is harder to get to. You have to kind of come in on a backcountry section of 66, about 7 miles, and then hike the last few parts. Those are magnificent remnants of pre-Route 66 travel. That was National Old Trails Highway.
Perfect. And